Today I'm going to do a reading vlog, and not just today, it's going to be over the weekend I think, and it won't just be about like what I'm reading. I'm going to be taking you places. At the moment in London the weather is awful and it's like tipping it down rain, so we're basically sitting in. Today is actually mine and Ben's anniversary. He got me a very lovely card, but some of you may already know that we literally have 2 anniversaries. This is the day that Ben counts as our anniversary, and so we've just had a lazy morning. I've been reading The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary, and I'm definitely going to be talking about my love, or falling in love with, like contemporary romantic fiction, because I'm really feeling it at the moment. But Ben has been playing Jurassic World on PlayStation and has been getting very annoyed at the Velociraptors, and yeah, I thought I would just keep you with me this weekend, so let's see what we get up to. So Ben's just going to make us some lunch, and then we're probably going to head to the library because it's currently like tipping down with rain. It is awful. Yeah, last weekend we had like a really good weekend, didn't we, like in terms of the weather. Now this is just absolutely shit. Thing I actually did buy, this is actually a HarperCollins book. I think it's published by HQ, but I bought it in the bookshop at work because you get like I think 60% off. But it's Bosch, which I know everybody's been loving. And actually one of my colleagues said that it was like a really good book, and he's found these recipes, and we've been looking through because we've actually like made little, what are they, like, what do you call them, Ben, when you fall down? We've kind of dug in all the pages, yeah, the ones that we fancy doing. And tonight we are going to do, what are we doing?
The Rogan Bosch.
Where is that? So it's basically
a spicy aubergine curry.
It's basically spicy aubergine curry. For someone who doesn't like aubergines, I actually kind of fancy it because I feel like it'll be really flavourful. Where is it? I want to show a picture. At least I'm basically showing everything that's in this book. So
if you slow it down frame by frame, we're giving you free recipes.
Oh, don't say that, I'll get fired.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this might be it.
Yeah, Claire's actually pirating this right now.
Yeah, I am.
Breaking copyright law.
To be fair, who doesn't, when they go to like a Waterstones, I shouldn't even say Waterstones, again another place I used to work, who doesn't like go and have a look at the recipes and make notes because they're hungry? So just as I was like completely moaning about the weather, out of nowhere, oh, it's fixing on the window. Oh my god, our windows are so dirty. But look at that, completely blue sky. Ben is very seriously playing
Hello.
Jurassic World Evolution?
Yes. It's like Jurassic Park, but you run the park, and this time the dinosaurs don't get out, hopefully.
How many Velociraptors have you lost?
Too few. They keep it's not losing the Velociraptors, it's losing the guests to the Velociraptors because they keep breaking out. Which you told me was historically inaccurate? Well, no, the raptors are historically inaccurate. I think the fact that they eat people if they could is probably correct. The actual ones are about the size of cats or chickens and were feathery. So, you know, you probably could have kept one as a pet. Wouldn't be a great pet, but you know, you could have.
But we're going to the library mainly because like libraries are being completely shut down, and we're really lucky where we're living to have a really amazing library that also has like an archive and stuff, and hopefully I'm going to be doing more things with the archive in future, I hope. Whoa, I just literally realised, Ben, that I'm cosplaying. I'm cosplaying the sofa, because I'm literally like, look! Oh, that looks so much lighter than the thing. And then I've got... Anyway, but if you go and get a library card, you're showing that you kind of care about the library and like want to use the facility. And so I think it's important for us to get a library card. Ben actually is a voracious reader, and he will really like save a lot of money by obviously getting library books out, and I'm really interested because the library you can also get ebooks from, and I really like reading on my Kindle, and I often buy paperback books, but I really love the feeling of reading on an e-reader, so I think I might get a library card and then borrow the ebooks of some of the paperbacks that I've bought. So many people talk in this game, and so oh, look at Ben's Park.
Got dinosaurs over here.
Can we see the Triceratops?
Yes.
My
we've
favourite
got
dinosaur.
Triceratopses. Yeah, they're Claire's favourites.
Where?
There they are.
Oh, they're always socialising. Look at the guys. Ah, babe, I can't believe you haven't named them.
I have so many dinosaurs. I can't think of names for them all.
I could. And also, Ben, it was Tiny, one of the first. I named one of the dinosaurs Tiny, the Triceratops, and he died. You killed Tiny. Whoa, you really zoomed in. You killed Tiny.
Tiny died of old age. Tiny is there, but for the grace of God. I mean, the thing is, Claire does give me shit for not naming my dinosaurs. However, I give you Carl bite marks for Ceratosaurus, and also, where is he?
How have you lost the dinosaur?
I don't know. They're good at that. There he is, and also Gnome Chompy.
Gnome Chompy. You need to find a name that goes with like Trotsky. Like Trotterski.
What?
Because they don't have trotters, but like, I don't know. I'm trying to help. I thought I'd also really quickly, while Ben's just playing a bit more of his game, show you some books that I was sent. These are all in the British Book Awards, the Nibbies, and this is the debut fiction shortlist. So we have Lullaby by Leila Slimani, published by Faber. Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pierce, published by, I think, Picador, yeah. The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, published by Raven Books, which is part of Bloomsbury. Then we have Ruth Jones, Never Greener, published by, was it Black Swan, which I think is part of Trans World. The Tattooist of Auschwitz, by Heather Morris. This is a Zafir book, a Bonnier Zafir book. And then we have The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes. Oh, I always get this wrong, even though when I met her, like, she taught me how to say her surname, and it's not even hard. It's Gower, like Power and Gower Street. Yes, so this is the debut fiction shortlist, and I love The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock, and it's been shortlisted for so many different awards, so I really hope it wins this, but to be honest, I have a feeling it might be The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I really am desperate to read this. I love Ruth Jones. Gavin Stacey is one of the best things I've ever seen. That was the sitcom she did with James Corden. This is also a really imaginative piece of like fiction, inspired by Agatha Christie, and it's like Groundhog Day. And I have read some of this, but I didn't finish it, so I'd like to return to it. I am feeling a bit of like a a bit like commercial women's fiction at the moment, and then this book made me actually have a dream that my baby had died, and I actually felt really, really unwell on my way to work when I was a bookseller. I think I don't know if it's one of the books of the month, but it was a book that I chose to champion. I remember one month. Ben got me some tulips this morning for our anniversary, but then we both realised that like neither of us know what to do with tulips. Like, there's a really pretty flower. They're always speaking, but they've got so many leaves. Like, I really need to learn flower arranging. It is not a skill I possess. Now it's really sunny, Ben. I think we should head out. Should we go to the library?
Yes.
Let's go get some books.
Woo!
You got two?
Yeah.
And I thought I'd tell you what I picked up. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So the first one is Lost Civilizations of the Stone Age by Richard Rudgley, I think it said. Prehistoric human history I quite like sort of like ancient history and stuff, but I'm a bit of a hipster about it because it seems like 90% of ancient history books is Romans, and then the ancient Greeks get a little bit of a look in, and then it's everyone else, and that slightly annoys me. But
What's your favourite like?
I'm very, very interested in sort of like Mesopotamian, Assyrian history. Yeah, so ancient history, it's always been very something that's interested me a lot. And then for my second book, Mr. Brandon, send me a son, a sandy son, make him the sandiest of all of my sons. A sandy son, make him so sandy, but also my son. And he'll be my sandy worst number one, Mr. Sandon. Send me a sandy son, make him a sandiest of all of my sons. Bring me the sandy, oh sandy son, Mr. Brandon Sanderson. I've been sitting on that for a year.
Did you plan that?
I have had that idea in my head because that's what my brain does for like a year.
Am I allowed to put that on YouTube?
Yes.
Cool.
Why would
Okay.
That's 100% original song content. So yeah, the other book I've got is
I actually dribbled on the library book. I think that's against the rules.
Another book I got was The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson.
I do not want the. I don't want the next verse of the barbershop quartet going on.
Okay.
I'm only kidding. Go.
Here I am. No, that was me done. But if you want to crush my talent, fine.
Do you know what? So it's a Mistborn novel.
Yeah. So this is a follow-up to the Mistborn trilogy, which is probably his most well-known works. It's a fantasy novel, but sort of a bit more kind of gothic-y, slightly Victorian-inspired society rather than traditional swords and sorcery style fantasy. And I think this one's a bit more like a western, but I haven't read it yet, so we'll see. And those are what I got.
I actually didn't think I would get any books just because I'm really there for like the ebooks. But I actually picked up one which is The Walks Through Lost Paris by Leonard Pitt. And basically it is, I should say that we're going to Paris next week actually.
Week after next.
Yeah. I think by the time I upload this day we might have already been.
Yeah.
But I love Paris, it's one of my favourite cities, and I kind of just adore it, but actually you don't know that much about the history, and so it basically takes you on walks through Paris, but it also kind of has a lot of pictures of like buildings as they are now and buildings as they were then, and I'm just hoping for us to kind of pick out some slightly different places to go to and discover, because I think we've both done like the tourist spots, and although I really love them, and you can't get any better than Paris, I feel, for like a tourist city, but I would like to discover something slightly new. And actually on that subject, a book that I didn't get from the library, but actually bought from Gower Street, which is one of my favourite Waterstones shops, and it's Paris in Stride. Yeah, it is the best shop. But yeah, Paris in Stride, this is another walking guide, it's all illustrated, and so I'm going to kind of use both of these to put together a plan for us, and also I would like to make a video. We are going a couple times this year, so I am hoping that I'll actually really be able to use both of them, and I might go back again. The good thing is with libraries is that they have like travel sections, and you can order books in, obviously to the library, because in reality there are places that I know that I'll probably only go like once in my life, and I don't really want to spend like 20 quid on a travel book, so the library is perfect for that. The other thing is, I don't even know what you'd actually call this. This has only been, oh my god, I'm the first person. Oh no.
Second.
So I'm the second person to book this out, but that was only, wow, like last month. That's really cool. Well, it's not really cool. It is to me. It's actually cool. 2 months ago. Anyway, so I picked up, it is the Croydon Advertising Special, Old and New Croydon Illustrated, and it's May 1894, and I am fascinated by social history, and I really wanted to learn more about South London, and I am actually going to be working on a series about discovering local history, and I realised the dishwasher's on, so that if you hear that, that's what it is.
It's washing them dishes.
It is, hopefully, hopefully. But it has like loads of the kind of architecture that like I've noticed when like we go into like Croydon, and I'm just kind of intrigued again to see like this one in particular actually. I know you weren't going to see this, but I will make an actual video. This is just like a building on a high street, and it's now like home to I think like a Wetherspoons, but it was actually like a very big like established like shopping department store, and it was actually really kind of like high end. So I'm just intrigued by the history, and I want to use this maybe as a starting point, and it has loads of stuff that if you are a geek like me you'll find really interesting, like the advertisements, and so you can kind of see the prices around the area and what the local the trade was like. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to use this as a starter for that. So that is our library haul. I liked the library actually.
Yeah, it's nice. It was busy as well today, which is good to see.
Yeah, that's when
lots of people in.
When people say that libraries like don't get used, I'm like, I've never been to a library where it's not basically full. And nearly everybody was on a computer working, and people were like working at tables and stuff like that. And I really, because we don't obviously have a child, like we can't necessarily go into like the children's area, but when I was a kid I was like obsessed with my local library, and like I used to get so many books up, and I think you were the same, weren't you?
Yeah, I pillaged my school library.
Yeah. Did you go to your local library?
No, not so much.
No, see, our local library was like, my mum used to take me every Monday after we went swimming in the local pool, and I would literally like have piles of books, and so it's quite nice to think that we'll probably have children here, and so you kind of think I'm really excited to take them to the library and pick up their books and stuff. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop this now, and we've been shopping, and we're gonna, I think, sit for a bit. You're gonna do a bit of writing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some reading and probably be on my Instagram more than I'll do reading. But yeah, I'll see you in a minute.
See you soon.
So it's now Sunday, and I thought I'd actually sit down before we get started on our day and actually do stuff, because all I've been doing this morning is just like sitting, and Ben has been playing Jurassic Park. We actually did watch Jurassic Park last night, and I don't think I've ever seen it. But yeah, so we are actually going to go out today, because we've had quite a lot of like indoor days. I feel like we've both needed a little bit of downtime. But yeah, before we head out, I want to talk about romance fiction. I realise how I look today is not stereotypical for someone who's about to talk about romance fiction, because I've got like my black lipstick on. It was a black lipstick day. But yeah, this is how I felt today, so this is how I'm representing myself. I have been in a reading slump, and I mentioned it previously, and I've actually really enjoyed getting back into reading at the moment, and I've been reading a lot of like contemporary romance fiction, like commercial fiction, and it's been like a little awakening, and I think because when I was doing my MA, and before that, reading was something that had to be almost useful to me at the same time. Like, it couldn't just be enjoyable, I had to learn something from it. And I think I have been actually like pressurising myself to, like, you know, you have to read this classic, or you have to read that book or that history book or whatever, because you need to have that knowledge. And when I finished my MA, I did have that slight identity crisis, as I've discussed in a different video, when I felt like I just didn't want to lose the knowledge I'd got from my MA, really, on like 18th century and 19th century society. And so I read a lot of, wanted to read a lot of classics and history books when I finished, and actually I think I was just tired, and I think that's what led to me not reading, even though like classics, I love them, but I did feel like I'd made like reading classics my identity, and I think actually that had stifled me a bit in terms of actually just enjoying reading. And so my getting back into reading has all started again with The Rules of Seeing by Jo Heap. This is published by HarperCollins. It's published by Harper Fiction. I've never worked on this book, by the way, even though it's HarperCollins, like nothing to do with it. I actually did a video with Jo Heap. I edited that last night and this morning, and that'll be up now. It was a really great conversation, I think, and I really loved the video. It's good, like half an hour, so if you want to grab a cup of tea and listen to people talk about books, I personally think, totally biased, but I think it's quite a good video. But The Rules of Seeing was a book I was actually slightly wary of because it tells the story of Nova, who is blind from birth, and she decides to have an operation that will make her see. And it is a queer love story and deals with a lot of serious topics, including domestic violence. It's just incredible. It's probably one of the best books I've read in a while, actually. It's definitely going to be one of my top of 2019. I loved it, and I read it so quickly, and it captured me in a way that actually a novel hasn't captured me in a really long time. I think that's because I just let myself enjoy it. And I do feel like romance fiction in particular has a bad reputation because like the literary establishment, let's be real, is very patriarchal, and it's like dominated by white cisgendered straight men, you know, all of the privilege. I just feel like romance fiction is seen as a lesser form of literature because it's often written by women, centres female characters, and is often stories about the female experience. And I just don't think it just really annoys me because some of these books are incredible, and romance fiction can deal with really serious topics in a beautiful way, and I think they're really accessible as books as well. And I'm a person who believes that we should be making reading more accessible to people and getting more people involved in it. And so if you kind of dismiss stuff as like chick lit or as kind of, you know, fluff or just as guilty pleasure books, it also dismisses the people who are reading them. But The Rules of Seeing, I can't recommend enough. It was, I think, beautiful character creations. The narrative was really, it was such a page turner. It really made me think and view the world in a different way. Anybody else do this when they're reading hardbacks? I always take off the thing. So this is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. I realise that you probably won't be able to see, but I've got all my grubby grease marks because I'm like a massive skincare geek, and so I always do my routine, and that includes like some oily products. And so this book, because I tend to read at night, is just covered in oil. I've had a lot of mixed reviews of The Flat Share, but I'm really, really loving it so far. There is one thing I find with like romance fiction which I don't like as much, is that I feel like the characters always have really weird like nicknames, like they're called Gertie or Tiffy or whatever, and I just don't meet people in my life who are called like, I don't know, Gertie. They always just have really like, I want to say like cutified names, but that is not a word. Yeah, I just sometimes find the name choice in novels quite weird. It's about Tiffy, who works in publishing, and it is a really funny and I think genuinely realistic view of working in the publishing industry. And I love that aspect of it. It's actually really captured me. And she's broken up with her boyfriend, who was like a complete dick, and she needs a new flat. She hasn't got a lot of money, and she lives in London, obviously, so it is ridiculously expensive. And she sees an advert for a flat share, but it's technically a bed share, and it's with a guy called Leon, and he works in palliative care unit, and so he does nights. So she has the bed during the night time, she has the flat during the night, and then he has it during the day. And it's been worked out all mainly by Leon's girlfriend, so that they never meet. And when they live together, they start writing notes to each other, and it starts with just like little stuff like, oh, I made, you know, the dinner was too big for me, I made too much, like you can have this leftover bit, and then those notes become more just, you know, they get to know each other through writing, and I thought that was a really interesting way of doing it. And I love the fact that the book is split between their two perspectives, and there are tiny little gems that you have in like one of their perspectives that kind of appears in the other narrative, and so I just thought it was really seamlessly done. I'm only about halfway through those, so I don't quite know what I think of it yet, which no, I do. I love it at the moment, but I don't really like to say normally that I absolutely love a book until I finished, but at the moment I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, again, I completely fell in love with the characters in the same way I did with Nova and Kate actually in The Rules of Seeing. I think romance fiction is often very character driven, and I think previously, without even thinking about it, I was like slightly snobbish about books that were like character driven, because I kind of felt like reading had to be something where I don't know, like I understood the world more or whatever, but I'm having a great time reading, and when you can kind of get into bed and you're excited about opening up a book and reading and being with these characters, like what is better than that? Genuinely, I don't know, and I don't always get that with like classics, so romance fiction is definitely winning my heart over. The next 3 books I've got on my TBR pile, and I think the next one I'm definitely going to read is A Proof, and it is by Laura Jane Williams, and it's called Our Stop. It's another HarperCollins book, but it's published by Avon, and I've heard a lot about it. I love the fact that this proof has like the pink edges. I actually don't, I should have totally, I'm gonna do the thing that no like vlogger should do. I'm gonna read the blurb. Nadia gets the 7:30 train every morning without fail. Well, except if she oversleeps or wakes up at her friend Emma's after too much wine. Daniel really does get the 7:30 train every morning, which is easy because he hasn't been able to sleep properly since his dad died. One morning, Nadia's eye catches sight of a post in the daily paper. To the cute girl with the coffee stains on her dress. I'm the guy who is always standing near the doors. Drink some time. So begins a not quite romance of near misses, true love, and the power of the written word. I love this proof design actually. Also, it's kin under yellow, but it really stands out. And as someone who lives in London and is kind of obsessed with those, other people must do this. Sometimes when I like see a stranger, I always like think, well, what about if not now necessarily. Now I'm like happily engaged, but I always used to have that moment at university, and not even like I actually liked the person, but sometimes if I was on a train or whatever, I'd see someone be like, what about if after, you know, we get up and we talk, and what about if this happens? I'm such a romantic and a hopeless, just hopeless romantic and an absolute dreamer, so I am interested, and I think this is going to be my next read. Another book which actually I never even thought of reading, even though I love Ruth Jones. I know I talked about this yesterday because it was in the shortlisted pile. The Book Award people, the British Book Awards people sent me with a pile of the books in the debut shortlist. Gavin Stacey is one of my favourite things that has ever been created. I think it is one of the best like rom-coms ever. It is, I think, the one piece of like comedy on TV where I just think they've like every line is perfectly written, and so I'm really interested in seeing what Ruth Jones's writing style is like. And I know my mum, who is also a Gavin and Stacey fan and really likes Ruth Jones, I know that she'll like this, so I'm going to try and read it potentially before I go and see my mum so she can then read it. West London, and it's basically a time capsule of a house, and like my mind was blown, but I actually found it like really emotional. Dennis Evers, I think, was an artist, and it's kind of set up like a still life drama, and the idea is that the family, as soon as you enter the room, they depart. You really feel like there has been people there and you're part of it, and a slightly voyeuristic look into history. So we're just about now sitting down with a cup of tea and coffee for Ben. And we went to Dennis Sever's house, as you will have like seen, and I'm still not over it. It was like the best day of my life. It was, I think, the best thing I've ever been to. It is now like at the top of my list of things to like recommend people if they're coming to London, because it was, yeah, what did you think?
I thought it was amazing. Like, it's a really like thorough and authentic collection of basically various parts of the house through generations. It was really good.
And then we ended up at Brick Lane Books, and I thought I would like show you the two books. You didn't buy any books, did you?
Not today.
No. I'll show you the two books that I picked up very briefly. Also got a tote bag. So you can totally see that I was inspired by the house, because I picked up Behind Closed Doors by the historian Amanda Vickery. I really like Amanda Vickery. She does a lot of like BBC documentaries, and it's basically at home in Georgian England and the study of social history and also materials. Every time I do anything related to my Miei, I'm like straight back to the history books. And then I picked up a historical novel which I've read quite a bit about, Mary Ann Sate Imbecile, by Alice Jolly. This book was actually recommended in like one of my favourite magazines, probably my favourite magazine, which is Oh Comely, and so I've kind of been looking out for it. It is a fictional autobiography, and it's basically found. It's basically about creating a narrative, like working class narrative, and like Eve Sedgwick says about kind of queer theory and queer histories, is that you have to read against the grain, and you have to find the histories, and so it is a fictional working class narrative. But I didn't actually pick it, I didn't actually open it up until like we were, I think, on the overground, like on the way home. And it's written really interestingly. It's not written like a normal historical novel or like even an autobiography. It almost is set out like poetry. I thought it would be a good chance to actually talk about what Ben has been reading, because I have like filmed you quite a bit like reading, so I thought...
It's very invasive.
What? No, I'm sharing. Do you want to...
Yeah, so this weekend, this bank holiday weekend for me has been themed on ancient history and even ancienter history.
Ancienter.
Ancienter, that's a real
Is
word.
that an
Yeah.
academic term?
So I think I mentioned this earlier. Picked this up from the local library on Saturday.
What is it again?
It is Lost Civilizations of the Stone Age by Richard Rudgley, or Rudgley, something like that. I don't know his. I've just read it.
Now a major TV series. You have to see if you can find it.
Oh yeah, Secrets of the Stone Age. That's on I think that's BBC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also recently finished. I'm going to check his name now. The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs by Steve Brissett. I also rewatched Jurassic Park and have been playing a Jurassic Park video game. So,
and
I have a dinosaur mug. So I'm just going all in on this theme. So it sort of charts the emergence of dinosaurs about 150 million years or so ago to when the asteroid hit them, about 70 million years, and the sort of the evolution and their ecology and things like that.
Okay. Was it good?
Yeah, it was great. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Ben is now like obsessively looking out for any new books about dinosaurs, and you really want a new Walking Dinosaurs or a new dinosaur documentary, don't you?
Yes, please. If anyone has any recommendations, put them in the comments.
Yeah, if you have anything dinosaur related, especially relatively new, or anything like ancient history but not Romans or Greeks. Ben is like a ridiculously, I mean maybe it's just because I'm a very slow reader and watch a lot of Teen Mom, but Ben is like really fast. You're a voracious reader, like you read loads and very fast, whereas I read very, very slowly. But I am on season 3 of Teen Mom and I only started it a day ago. So that's a quality time management. So you're going to read Brandon Sanderson. Is there any books that you're looking forward to that coming out in the future? Apart from the Game of Thrones books, which may or may not arrive.
The long distant future. I mean, it's already out, but I'm a big fan of Magic the Gathering as well, so I do want to pick up the new Ravnica novel by Greg Weisman. So grab that at some point. And then also I just finished reading Sam Sykes'
you should definitely
City Stained Red, and the sequels, The Mortal Tally and God's Last Breath. And that also has a trilogy name that I can't remember. But if you don't follow Sam Sykes on Twitter, follow him, because it is hilarious. And then I think the other recent thing I read was N.K. Jemisin's Broken Earth trilogy, which is a really, really, really good fantasy trilogy. The trilogy won 3 Hugo Awards in 3 consecutive years, and is a sort of fantasy novel concerning a mother and her daughter in a world that is racked by constant volcanic activity and basically always 5 minutes away from the end.
Oh.
Really good.
Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day and tell me what you're reading, and if you liked this style of vlog, please let me know, because it was a lot of fun to film.
If you didn't like it, just keep that to yourself. We don't need that energy.
No, I don't. Yeah, only positive vibes only. Positive vibes only. Want to say bye?
Oh, thank you.
I always thought you were going to be like, bye. No?
Bye.
Oh, babe. It's okay. I love you. You alright?
Yeah, you're going to dip your hair in the tea.
Oops.
Yeah, it was fun. Shit, I'm also reading the Marlon James.
Do you want to quickly say that?
I'm also reading Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. That's my work read that I read on my lunch break.
Yeah, Ben reads, like, I don't do anything on my lunch break.
It's how I read lots at once. I just cheat and have different books in different places.
I don't think that's cheating. I think that's a really productive way of doing it. You're never about a book then.
Yeah.
So, what, are you enjoying it?
It's good.
Have you read any Marlon James before? Because
no.
Didn't he win the Man Booker?
Yeah, for Brief History of 7 Killings, that got the Man Booker.
So now, is there anything else you're reading?
I'm pretty sure that's everything.
That's it? Are you 100% sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave me alone.
I'll go to end and then Ben will shout another title.
Bye.
It's too late now, Ben.
Aww.
The time's gone.
Aww.